So right, the recording started. So just first and foremost, then, if you just can introduce yourselves. So we've got Dammy and Anshu on the call. So Dammy, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Dammy Onokade and I am a delivery manager. Basically, what I do is I help organizations turn delivery chaos into clarity, one team, one conversation, and one sprint at a time. I'm all about making delivery smoother, smarter, and more human focused. Um, I'm a servant leader and I believe so much in radical transparency at all levels. So we're having visible, visible things that we're working on all the time. Everybody in the organization knows what we're doing at all times. I believe in transparency. I have knowledge and experiences of several agile frameworks, and I've seen where how the right mix of coaching, clarity, strategy, and collaboration helps to unlock favorable outcomes for teams and for the organization as a whole. So yeah, I'm Dami and I'm a delivery manager. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Dammy. It's lovely to have you with us. And
Thank you.
Anshu, yourself, please.
Hi everyone. This is Anshu. So I am currently working as a freelance agile consultant and involved in conducting skilled agile trainings for different so like POPM and Scrum Master. So I have worked mainly as a delivery manager in my previous organization in the agile space, as well as a agile coach. But now I am freelancer, just conducting trainings and giving consultancy to small and medium businesses, how they can implement agile within their organizations.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to have you with us. Thanks, Anshu. And then myself and Giuseppe, we're the normal two consultants that have worked together previously. So myself, my background, I did 14 years in the military before leaving, going through an ex-forces program, landed myself a job as a project manager, then landed into an agile organization, then the Scrum Master role, then Agile Coach, and I've been consulting now for the past sort of 6 or 7 years with various clients in different capacities: delivery manager, program manager, Agile Coach, and absolutely enjoying the ride. And Giuseppe?
Hey guys, I'm Giuseppe Pancione, and I started actually as a chemical engineer, but my career didn't last long before I moved into data. And from there, from working as a technical implementation consultant for a CRM company, then I decided that my path was more towards project management. And then after project management as well, I discovered Agile and Scrum. And here I am with all of you guys. Nice to meet you all.
Awesome. Cheers all. So before we hit the record button, Anshu, you asked us a question, right? Do you mind repeating and asking us that sort of question and making that statement again?
Sure. So right now, Gen AI and use of AI is getting a buzzword, and how it can be implemented in agile workspace, and how different roles like Scrum Masters or agile coaches or product owner can leverage AI in managing day-to-day activities. So what I think is that AI is definitely going to give a boon to these roles, but as well as uh, it has some cons. It is going to bring some problems also. So that's what I wanted to discuss, that what different problems that you can foresee uh, if we extensively use AI in management.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's really on trend as well. AI seems to have just come out of nowhere, like really quick, right? And I know AI has been around for a while, but especially in our business and wider, it's definitely seems to have appeared. I'll just give you my sort of, because I've got this, as soon as you ask the question about AI, it really resonates with what I'm doing right now. And I've been working with a company essentially looking at implementing a new tool to help them manage their strategic objectives and key results, right? And the tool's Workboard. So if anybody, there's a little plug, right? I'm not going to get any commission from that, but if anybody's interested, Workboard is the tool. And ultimately, you put in your objective, you can do all your alignments and things, and you can do it from the highest strategic level almost down to the most junior developer on a team. And each objective can have numerous key results. And one of the things that the CEO and the president asked me last week was, can it use AI? And my immediate response was yes, because it can. But what is it you actually want from the AI? And I was actually quite surprised by the answer. in the fact that really what they wanted was not only did they want AI to sort of help them, um, guide them sort of through it, but they actually really wanted AI to steer them. And they were asking the questions around what can AI help us with our company objectives? Can AI help us with our strategic goals and our strategic sort of ambitions for the company? And I very recently did the pro user course for Workboard. I literally finished this last Thursday, and the instructor was showing us all of the AI functionality. And although it can't give a recommendation of an objective based on your company, so it won't go in and search what your company is and say this should be your objective. What it can do is if you just put a quick question or a brief summary, it will then start outlining what an appropriate objective and key result might look like. More beyond that, and I'll shut up and let you guys talk in a minute. But beyond that, within the tool, what you can do is you can give people feedback on their progress. So you might have multiple people working on certain key results. And when he was demonstrating the functionality of the feedback option, he typed in it and it said, would you like to provide feedback to Anshu, who's been working on this key result, has completed 50% of the key result? And the answer was yes. Would you like AI support? And you clicked yes. And what it did is it wrote out this really well scripted, dear David, I just wanted to say a massive thank you for all the hard work that you've been doing, for your progress on this key result, which is going to have an impact on this objective, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And when you read it, it was really humanistic. It was very well written. You'd love to get that feedback. Do you know what I mean? Like you would love to be the person getting that feedback. But the individual who was wanting to give the feedback hadn't written that. So at what point are we losing that human interaction or almost having a false human interaction within that AI? And for me, I will say that when I was on the course, I actually said that was a really sad feature because you think you're getting feedback from someone who actually the thought's there, but the effort wasn't. What do you think? I don't know what people think about that.
Absolutely. So if you use too much of AI and rely too much on AI, so you are actually losing the human touch, and maybe in some time you will bring psychological issues with trust within the team because you are more of relying on a tool. Uh,
Yeah,
if estimates are not correct by the team, they are being just monitored through AI, and AI just correcting it. So that human intelligence is getting affected.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And in longer runs, it will definitely bring issues with psychological safety within the team, and the trust will lose. And indirectly, though, AI is being used to improve the productivity, but too much use of AI, which I think will decrease the productivity because trust will lose and the human interaction will lose.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that, Anshu, because if Agile is based on that, it's based on good communication, transparency, honesty, and actual team building, and you want people to actually be able to communicate together. And if you leverage too much on a robot, that type of human interaction is going to be affected, and hence the productivity. Because in the end, what makes an agile team super productive is the team itself being fully transparent and honest. And yeah, I do agree with that. And it's all about, I think, finding the right balance, right, between using the right amount of AI and the right amount of the human brain. I also one more thing to add on the AI on the AI side. I just think that we leverage so much now on ChatGPT and other Gen AI tools, but in reality, I still think that there is still a very long way, and I think that we're trusting too much these algorithms, in my opinion. Like I think that they're very good on a surface level, but then when you want to go to that heavier detail, I don't think that that is able to provide that sort of support yet. Anyway, that's my opinion and my experience.
Dammy, have you had any sort of what's your experience with AI being recently?
Oh wow, that is very interesting because where I work, we deal basically with AI. So I've heard you guys talk, and I'm like, I, I'm going to have to talk about this, but from a different perspective, because what we do is we use AI to help small, medium businesses and telecommunications to analyze the kind of trends coming into their networks, and to help to analyze trends, and to predict if this is good or if there's a problem based on the trends. This is why this is a problem. This is how you can prevent it. This is what we predicted. Prevent it to stop cyber attacks. So, but what I've realized is that what we need to do is we need to agree on what extent of AI we're going to be getting. There has to be an agreement. We have to agree what we should and should not use AI for. We cannot afford to replace our thinking, our intuitive thinking with AI. We cannot afford to replace humans with AI. From the Agile manifestos, we know that we individuals and their interactions over processes or tools. So if you now start to take what AI does over the individuals and the kind of interactions that they are having, then you're making a big mistakes. We need to agree on a boundary, what we need to use AI for and what we shouldn't use it for. AI must not replace human thinking.
So I'm curious to know, because we were kind of talking, like you said, right? It's coming from a different perspective now, and we're actually utilizing AI for a service, right, rather than a sort of guidance. So I'm intrigued. Before AI, it was obviously humans that did that sort of analysis and those assessments and recommendations previously, right? So is there now less analysts working with the organization you work with because of the integration of AI?
At all, because these analysts actually build those AI bots. They build the system, so they're working more on building it from the ground up. So they can't do all those things without these humans in place, and these humans still need to monitor these things. They build the language models, they do the data ingest and all that. So we need those people to actually build these things. So no, AI isn't replacing the humans. We're using AI for predictive measures, not as a service, not as a replacement for humans.
And it sounds like the way you're describing that there, it sounds like that's actually a really important ethos of the company you're working with. The way you've just sort of described that, it's very much human first, AI second.
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite reassuring, right? And I think that's a really good case of using AI the right way, as opposed to maybe the question that I was asked, which is kind of, can this do it for us, sort of thing. And I think that's the problem that a lot of people, when they're looking to work with AI, is they're looking for an easy way out, right? They're looking for that easy option rather than enhancement.
Also, because the AI tool doesn't know your workforce. So, in my work, a strategy set out by the AI tool that you asked might work in a certain type of culture, but it's not going to work in another company because the culture is completely different. So again, because fortunately for now, I don't know, maybe with quantum computers is even that they're going to be able to even catch feelings, the AI tool. I don't know.
Yeah, but you say that, but hasn't AI literally just turned around and said no? We've had an incident in the news recently, haven't we, where the first AI has actually turned around and refused to perform the request, right?
Wow.
And it was also asked to AI was. This was another case as well, because I was talking about this very conversation on a train yesterday, weirdly, in Berlin. And the chap was telling me that somebody give this challenge to AI not to lose at Tetris. Weird, right? Not to lose at Tetris. And they're watching this thing play Tetris. And obviously it gets so fast, doesn't it, that eventually you're going to lose at Tetris. So before it lost, it paused the game. And then it just froze. So it would never lose Tetris, right? It's conforming to your command to the level of which it could physically by doing what you would expect it to do. But actually, who'd have thought it was just going to pause the game and then just literally, and it wasn't. I mean, you think it would have just crashed.
So it cheated, basically.
It cheated. Yeah. That's mad, isn't it? What would you want? Like
crazy stuff.
So, I mean, so Dammy, you're pro AI, and I can kind of understand as to why. Yeah, absolutely. But you've got valid reasons, and your company are kind of integrating this the right way. And you don't seem so sure. But if
I
I
think it
I'll go on.
also depends on why we are using AI. Is it to boost the productivity or is it for a cost cutting? So if you are using for cost cutting, then AI first, human second. That's what the thought process is going on within the organizations. And if it's just for improving the employees' productivity, then definitely employees first and the AI second as a service. That's going on.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
all depends with what mindset you are going to use a AI.
Yeah, because well, I mean we're already uncovering now there's many different layers of AI, right? You've got AI as a service, you've got AI
Yeah,
because people want it to kind of just do things for them, to want to take it over. You've got the AI that we're kind of entrusting to protect us. Even sort of military organizations now looking into the use of AI, aren't they? Um, so yeah, it's worrying, but at the same time, it's quite exciting. I mean, when was the last time? I want to hear from it all three, and I'll give mine as well. When was
okay.
the last time you used AI, and what was it for? Like the most recent time you used AI, and what was it for?
So I think I used AI a couple of days back only just to learn something new on Agile.
What was it that you asked AI, if you don't mind me asking? Do you remember what the
How
topic was?
I think it was on a Agile implementation in more of a non-IT functions. How you can do that?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Nice. Cool. Okay. Were you happy with the answer?
Yeah, it was good. Answers were good.
Yeah.
You have to
Okay.
tailor those answers.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
The thought
That
process.
Dammy's probably slightly different with her last use of AI because obviously she works with it every day.
Yes, I use it. Yes, I use it for work. I use it for work just to look into the insights of the bots we were building. So
Awesome. Giuseppe?
yeah.
So I use it. I cheat on my Wordle all the time. So that's how I use AI. But to be honest, many times it messes up. It doesn't understand exactly. Maybe because I don't use the correct prompts, but still, sometimes it struggle and doesn't find all the words. It finds just some of them. So that's where my feedback comes in terms of AI, where I can also talk for translators. So I worked for a translation office back in the day, and now, of course, in the world of translation, AI is really taking over, and actually is making the job more painful for the translator than before, because now you have an AI tool that translates an entire document, and then you're not translating anymore. You're proofreading the document, and apparently, in certain situations, it allows for more error as well. So not always the AI tools are preferred by the employees, and still you can run into a lot of mistakes, because in the end also AI is not perfect and makes mistakes. So again, it's all going back to the same conversation where we need to find a hybrid um, agreement, between how much AI and how much human interaction do we need for different jobs. But yeah, that was me in summary when I used the last AI tool.
We want to kind of find it a happy medium, don't we? So the last time I used it, as I mentioned, I was in Berlin, and we hired these little electronic scooters, and we thought we'd go on a little tour of Berlin on the last day. Our flight wasn't until like 10 p.m., so we had the whole day. They kicked us out of the hotel as they do quite early, and we whizzed around Berlin, and we went to the different sort of places, and I just asked AI what teach me about this building, teach me about the Reichstag building, teach me about the Victory Column, for instance, and it was just giving me this and just reading out all this information. So that was a real positive experience of AI. And then more sort of just before that, another one that really jumps out to mind is I actually asked AI, am I how efficient am I being with my money? I have X amount of money saved, and I would like to, and I'm doing this with it. It's in a bank account. It's getting this interest rate. Blah 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 blah. What would you recommend as a better way for me to make the most of my money? And it gave me this list of options and things. And I'll be honest, I've done them. Like I told Giuseppe about them the other day, didn't I? I rang you up and I was just like, Giuseppe, I've got this great idea. Well, it's not even my idea. It's AI.
Oh my.
So yeah, it is helpful, you see, in certain situations. So
It is, yeah. What wouldn't you want it to do? Because Anshu, you the first question really was kind of edging on the air of concern, and we're kind of celebrating AI in this chat, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, it depends on the usage for
Yeah.
what you are using.
Mm.
It's a fun also to use AI because you get answers very quickly instead of going on internet and searching on a lot of things
Yeah,
and trying to come up with the answers. But at the same time, it depends if you are too much relying on AI, what AI has told you is, and relying only on that data, then definitely it's a problem in a longer run.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what I'll say, make a judicious decision when to use and how much to use.
yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. I agree.
And
I agree.
definitely, whatever you get, put your brain also to validate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that so I have a point on that. You know exactly how you use it, right? And I was having sometimes I always think before asking, this is my how I always use AI. Before asking AI, I want to use my brain 100%, and then I'm going to utilize AI like the same way that Lee done it, right? Like he's looked at his finances and utilized different strategies and then cross-checked with AI. I feel that that is a very healthy way, because otherwise I believe that if you instead just ask the AI tool right away without even utilizing your brain, I think that that causes, first of all, makes you lazy, and second of all, I think creates a bit of bias from the AI side, right? Because you haven't even tried to go to someone else; you just went straight to the guru, to the main guru AI.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, there should be a sort of a methodology on how to utilize certain AI tools as well, probably.
Yeah. I would say this. I believe that people should give AI some level of information and not just putting like a blank canvas and asking so many questions without. AI should be used to refine stuff, not to build things from the scratch. You can't say, AI, do this. You need to say, oh, I have this, present it with at least some data, present it with at least some information, then ask, refine this. Then, of course, when it brings back the response, go through it yourself and also refine it a second time. Don't just give all the work out to AI, because there's like a caveat when he always says AI, all these responses are not 100% accurate. AI makes mistakes sometimes. So you should have that in mind when you're putting stuff out there for AI to solve. AI is not always 100% accurate. I think with that at the back of your mind,
Yeah.
then you probably use AI more responsibly, not just handing over your life to it or handing over everything that you need to do. I can say, oh, I want to walk from point A to B, and I impute some form of information. How do I do this better? It gives back the response, and you also look at it critically, think about it before you put that out there. That's what I think.
that's perfect. And do you know what? I think that is it's kind of the perfect way to wrap up the chat, really, in the fact that if we just summarize the conversation we've just had, the initial question was based around a concern surrounding the use of AI. We've
Yeah,
heard some positive use cases, like really
yeah,
positive in your case, Dammy, right? An
yeah,
organization that's thriving from the use of AI.
yes.
We've heard about an individual benefit, in terms of the finances and the individual things that we did there as well. But we've also heard about some of the potential risks and making sure that we're giving enough information to the AI to get back what we need and not just to purely rely on that. So yeah, I think there's a lesson there, right? So if you are sort of dabbling or thinking of dabbling with the use of AI, it's understanding number one the capability of it, but also being realistic in what the expectation is from it. So in my mind, and maybe Anshu, maybe you feel a little bit better after that conversation, but in my mind, it's kind of like let's embrace it,
Yeah,
but let's not just depend on it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So use it with a judicious thinking. Use it, but don't rely 100% on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'd be interesting to see when we post this chat if we get any other. And Dammy, you might have some of the AI experts, right? That
Yeah.
want to come in and make an argument for it and sort of
Yeah.
give more on the subject. But I think that's a really good, like a really nice place to sort of end the chat there. But before we do, has anybody got any sort of final comments on it, on the discussion?
I actually really enjoyed this conversation. Much better way to connect. Yeah, I think they're very usefully. So
Yeah, well, I'll stop the recording and then we can talk separately. But thank you for that. I'll just stop the recording now.
Okay. Okay. I would